Welcome back to Awakening the Inner Avatar. Today's story is about what happens when history collides with progress, about honoring memory, respecting sacred spaces, and standing in integrity. This is the Northern Air Temple, a story of confronting change, choosing what must be protected, and discovering spirit even in unexpected places. The episode opens with Aang, Katara, and Sokka gathered by a campfire, listening to a traveler's tale. Aang is filled with hope. Stories of airbenders nearby spark something deep within him. The trio rushes to the Northern Air Temple, and from a distance, they see people soaring through the air. But when they arrive, Aang immediately senses the truth. These aren't airbenders, just gliders. And while the others marvel at the flying, Aang's heart aches. He feels the absence of spirit, of sacredness. Sometimes we chase a story, hoping to find belonging, only to be met with something hollow. Aang meets Teo, a bright and playful boy, and his father, the mechanist. Inside the temple, Aang witnesses the destruction of ancient relics, spaces once sacred, now filled with machinery. Sokka is fascinated. Katara tries to understand, but Aang feels the grief of history being erased. The mechanist explains they were refugees from a flood, forced to survive, forced to rebuild. He claims they've improved the temple, and Aang's response cuts to the heart. Nature knows where to stop. It's a lesson we all face. Survival can drive us to compromise, but does survival justify the loss of something sacred? Teo, sensing Aang's pain, takes him to the last untouched place, a hidden chamber only an airbender can open. Aang refuses. Some things, he says, must remain untouched. Even in loss, reverence must remain. But as the story unfolds, Aang discovers the painful truth. The mechanist has been building weapons for the Fire Nation, forced into survival deals that come at a moral cost. Aang stands firm. This is where the line must be drawn. Sometimes protecting sacredness means standing against convenient survival. When the Fire Nation comes to collect their weapons, Aang and the people refuse. With creativity, courage, and community, they fight back. Gliders soar. Katara bends water. Sokka's quick thinking shines. And Aang remembers that spirit is not just in the past, it's in the choices we make right now. Though they win the battle, the Fire Nation escapes with a new invention, a war balloon, hinting that the battle for balance is far from over. Let's pause together. A slow, grounding breath. Inhale, hold, exhale. Aang teaches us that honoring the past is not about clinging. It's about protecting what is meaningful. Where in my life have I allowed survival or progress to ruin something sacred? The mechanist's choices show how fear can pull us away from our deeper values. Where can I choose integrity over convenience, even when it feels hard? Though the airbenders are gone, spirit flows in Aang's choices, in the people's courage, in each stand we take for what's right. Now repeat to yourself, my spirit shines brightest when I stand for what matters. The Northern Air Temple reminds us that not everything should be changed, and sometimes the most radical act is remembering who we are and what we honor. Thank you for joining me today. Until next time, walk gently, stand firmly, and remember, you are the keeper of sacredness in your world. This is Awakening the Inner Avatar. This podcast is a fan-created project intended for educational and spiritual reflection. All clips, references, and content related to Avatar, The Last Airbender, Star Wars, Rebels, and other media are used under fair use for commentary, analysis, and transformative discussion. All rights to original shows, characters, and music belong to their respective creators and copyright holders.